Isa pang kontrobersyal na vlogger, inaresto si Boy Tapang matapos umanong mambugbog ng kalivin. Ang punot dulo raw ng pananakit, vape. Nasa frontline balitang yan ang aming
I made a video and I had spoke for an entire hour on this Mambugbog, and something was wrong with the sound. I installed a video called DID, and I think the DID turned off the sound on screen recording, so I couldn't record anything. Because DID works where it's going to limit the amount of recordings that you can make, and it functions on your phone determine on how much on paying of the bill. But I was just using the free service. So Mambugbog, that is not really a traditional verb in Tagalog, and so it should cause some problems and should cause you to ask some questions if you're studying Tagalog. But I'm going to go over what ChatGPT and I spoke about concerning this, and I'm going to try and get the news. You can look it up, I guess. Here, let me hit this little button, see what it says. Okay, it's Frontline, and this should give you enough information to look up the actual video, and you can save yourself a lot of time, and you can look it up yourself. And what happens is that the Boy Tapang, he has violated 9262, but he's quite jovial about it, and you'll see it in the video. But let's come back and let's go over here, and we're gonna go here and come back, and we're gonna see Boy Tapang IA 9262 and his violation. And what we're talking about is what's going on and why this unusual verb is going to be used in Tagalog. That's what we're talking about. And this gets very, very intensive. And I just want to know if this particular, if I'm recording anything, then maybe later I'll say more about this. But watch the video. If someone watches the video and they have any questions about the language that's used in the video, and naturally, if you're studying Tagalog, you should have some questions about it. But I'm the guy that says know before you go. And if you don't know what Mambugbog is, you're going to have a lot of problems. If there's any word that you would want to know, you would want to know what Mambugbog is. It's about as important as kain, which is to eat. It's about as important as tulog, which is to sleep. It's about as important as inoman, to drink. I mean, do you see Mambugbog? These are just Mambugbog. These are just things that you have to know. Okay, so I'm going to relate a little story about knowing before you go, and then I'm going to turn this off because I've got to get in a workout, but my legs are absolutely shot. Okay, today I see a guy that, has long dreads, and he's at the cab stand. And so I scream out, "Como allez-vous?" No response. I scream out, você está bien? No response. I scream out, "Como estás?" Now I'm in a car and I'm screaming this out. And then I scream out the English, "Hey." Now he ignored all of this. Now, that's not natural. Usually a person is going to say, "Hey," or "Don't bother me," or whatever, but it's not natural. So he watched somebody saying to him, "Head to Mexico." Now I don't know exactly where he was from, but he wasn't from any of the languages. He wasn't from Brazil. He wasn't from Haiti. He wasn't Mexican because he didn't respond to any of what was said there. Now the fact that he didn't respond to the English hey, that's immaterial. But what I'm wondering now is did he make it? Did he make it? Because he went and he's here, but he didn't know before. He needed to know before he go. He needed to know before he got here, but he didn't. But I doubt that he knew. So now I'm wondering, is he going to make it through the night? Now, in the same thing, since we're talking about what's going on, physical abuse, psychological abuse, economic abuse, sexual abuse, and 9262. We're talking about 9262 and what happened with Bung Bung. Yesterday I was at the bridge. There was a woman and she was begging for food and begging for money, and she had a little baby with her. The baby was 8 months old. I became concerned about the baby, so I asked her her situation. She told me her situation. So I said, I'm going to come back tomorrow. So I came back today, which was tomorrow, and I brought my little sweetheart with me. And I told the little sweetheart, hey, I'm going to let you talk to somebody for me because I'm a guy. I don't understand what's going on. You're going to understand this more than I do. So we get over there and the two women are talking, and exactly what the woman told me the day before, she tells the other woman. So I'm holding the baby, very cute, adorable baby. So then I tell the lady, okay, nosotros no resolvamos el problema ya, así yo voy a regresar mañana. But the little sweetheart was sure to tell the lady. She said, yo estoy aquí con él porque él no sabe exactamente, él no sabe español exactamente. Es porque él tráigame. Okay. But I understood everything that they were saying. Everything. And it was the same thing that was said yesterday. So the lady was kind of shocked. She was like, why do you think that he doesn't understand what we already talked about when we're talking about the same thing? Now, the other lady, the little sweetheart, told her, okay, tú eres tal vez 2, 3 kilómetros dentro de ciudad y cuando tú estás a las tienda de las chinas, tú vas a la derecha y que está la casa de los refugiados y tú puedes vivir en la casa de los refugiados si tú no tienes dinero. Okay. So that lady said, well, she said she didn't care to live there because they have a schedule. The same schedule that's at every homeless shelter everywhere. And I'm saying that the last time I confronted this problem was on a 60 degree in Dallas, Texas, and when I saw a lady that had shaking baby syndrome, and she had no short-term memory, and she potentially was being uh, some Mexican construction workers had impure designs for her. I don't know if they participated in any of these impure illegal acts, but that's what was going on. But it was 4 hours before the temperature fell from 60 degrees all the way down into the 20s, if not the teens, and she had basically not much clothing. She would have frozen to death. So I had to take it to a shelter, and because she had no short-term memory, she couldn't understand anything about the particulars, how the shelter worked, or anything of that sort. So I was very familiar with how shelters work all over the world. Germany, Japan, Philippines, China, all shelters work the exact same way. So I was familiar with what these two women were talking about. So the little sweetheart says to me, it says that I didn't understand what was being said. That was fine. When I had explained to her that my lack of understanding is because I am a man. I don't understand the needs of this woman nor of the child. Okay. So the thing of it is that in the case of the woman that had shaken baby syndrome, she had no short-term memory. She was mentally impaired. She had the incapacity to know before she went. She could not determine what was going to be the weather because she didn't have enough memory to understand. Even if she read it off of a paper, read it off of a phone, she didn't have enough memory to understand that what she just read or just was told is that in 4 hours the temperature is going to drop into the 20s, below freezing. And even though the announcements were all over the city that said that this was going to occur, she didn't have the capacity to understand. The guy at the taxi stand, he's an adult, but he should not be taking taxis in Mexico. He shouldn't. He didn't know. He just went. The lady that was at the bridge with the baby, she knows a little bit more because Spanish is her language, and she was speaking Spanish. But she's from Monterrey and has only been here for 2 weeks. So we were trying to tell her where she could get some shelter and where she could get some employment. But it was extremely difficult. So, Mambugbog 9262. Know before you go.